So you're missing deadlines or slacking off. You're the one who always takes a deep breath and you say to yourself, I'll do this by this week. And for some reason, you're out here looking in the sky, asking yourself, why did it happen? You have your calendar, your list, but always there's gotta be something that you miss out. If you're that guy, then welcome to this video. I am Mahir, a 2B engineering student in the University of Toronto, Canada. Recently read this book called The Deadline Effect by Christopher Cox and has allowed me to see deadlines in a more scientific way. Alright, so let's dive deep. So meeting your deadlines comes with three main fundamentals that I've come up with. That is, the first one is setting micro short deadlines and conquering the deadline effect. And the second is conquering the urgency effect. And thirdly is making your overall routine more fun and enjoyable. If you can master three of these, I think that you'll be an expert in maintaining your deadlines and really making your life more productive and happier and everything. Productivity, I believe, leads to happiness, and that leads to success. And by the end of this video, we'll find out how you will be able to implement routine systems, psychological systems, and winning systems. I'll introduce you to several frameworks as well. Let's dive deep. At the very starting, I'd like to say that the starting should be tricking your own psychology. Sorry, it's mosquitoes out here anyways, yeah. After you trick your psychology, like some stuff about how brains work, or to build systems. Systems will enhance your life. Systems will change the way you really carry out things. And then you keep track of things. And then you rinse and repeat that process. And then you find a proper final execution. Right? This is the entire process on how you should be improving things. Number one, and that is setting micro short deadlines and conquering the deadline effect. Look at this calendar. It says your task deadlines, and by 31st July, I have to upload a video, a YouTube video. You know how much effort and scripting and editing and thumbnail, etc. takes for a YouTube video. However, I set the deadline at 31st. It has, like, in this scenario, like, it has happened to me a lot that I didn't or I couldn't meet the deadline. What's the solution? This is your calendar. Let's say that uploading YouTube video, a part of a project, is one project. Or I'm indicating these green signs as a part of a project. Let's say if I can set semi-deadlines for that project, you will never miss it. For example, planning the video, my deadline is 22nd July. Or making the script is 24th. Shooting the video, 25th. Finish off. These are soft deadlines. These are called reminder deadlines or soft deadlines or whatever you say it. What it does is that it helps you, it actually kind of analyzes the thing that you will not be facing a worst case scenario. This is the framework that I try to follow nowadays, and it's really working, guys. I'm sharing with you whatever it is working for me. You get 2 extra days, let's say, no missing deadlines, no burnout, no overlaps, and you are happy. Being happy is the best thing here. I focus on being more happy rather than working too much. I don't believe in working all the time and getting your head washed, literally. Okay, idea that I was talking about is that, for example, this is the big task, and the big task's deadline is 29th July. One semi-task's deadline is 21st, another semi-task's deadline is 22nd and 25th. So if you follow these systems in these sort of things, you will be able to get ahead of the deadline. Here's you, and you divide tasks into smaller chunks. Then you kind of set an automatic reminder to your own self. That's really crazy. The book says that these soft lines should be treated and like very seriously. Let's say that you have free time and you have efficiency and you have productivity, and this will 100% lead to long-term success. Now, how are we gonna get the free time? Right? Getting that free time is focusing on problems. So what is the problem? Is a worst case scenario that can happen to you if you miss a deadline, and it can overlap, right? What's the solution? Is that systematically doing things earlier, not only focusing on the mini deadlines that I've shown you, rather than doing things earlier. Now you might say like, oh, I have to do things earlier. Yeah, I know. It's just that we tend to do things at the last minute. This is called planning fallacy, and that we sometimes underestimate the amount of time that a task might need to, and we cannot calculate how much time that specific task will take. We need to really like take a week and see how much time does a task take. And that's the biggest barrier, and we need to cut off that barrier by doing and rinsing and repeating things, if that makes sense. The thing is, if we underestimate the time taken for a task, that will lead to procrastination, and that will lead to overlapping. And this is my connecting idea in the next page. So what are the dangers are we talking about? This is you, or you miss a deadline. That's okay, I guess. Then what happens? Your schedules overlap. You try to finish this task and this task and this task, it overlaps. You know that. That leads to frustration, and that leads to burnout, and you literally procrastinate from now, and you then after you procrastinate, you don't get anything done and you be unhappy. This idea of schedules overlapping is really connected with procrastination. Smaller chunks of tasks, achievable, enjoyable, and actionable tasks, and that should lead you to happiness. Conquering the urgency effect. So, what is the urgency effect? In this book, I came across a research that was been conducted by Meng Zhu, an associate professor at marketing in the Johns Hopkins University, and he released a paper on it was named the mere urgency effect. What happened is that in an experiment, students were asked to perform a single task, which was technically writing 5 short product reviews. The control group, they could choose between 2 different rewards for that. One was having 3 Hershey kisses and another was 5 Hershey kisses. However, the idea was that people could get the 3 Hershey kisses if they could finish the task within 10 minutes, and they could get 5 Hershey's kisses if they would take an entire 24 hours. And the surprising thing is, more than 30% of the students settle for the smaller reward. Why? Like, I can just do the task within 10 minutes, but then do not submit it. But why did 30% of the students settle for the smaller reward, knowing that it will take them even lesser time? That's called the mere urgency effect. What it does is that you subconsciously have this sort of idea in our brain that many people feel as if doing something which is somewhat urgent has something appealing, and we don't really consider the future consequences of it, if that makes sense. Not always doing something quickly, urgent, is good. We have to take note of the things that we will get in return as well. This is called the urgency effect, and I'll tell you how it is really connected with our life. That's you. We're kind of present biased. We only care about what's happening now and instant rewards, instant real consumption, etc. You're doing only what matters now. There's a big project, let's say, that you've been working on, which is very important. However, something came up. For example, you just want to shoot a video which wasn't really necessary. And you were doing that because you feel like it's urgent, but in turn, it's not important. What happens? You are missing out the overall trajectory of success. This is how we fail to meet our deadlines, or we do not keep the right priorities in place. Or being present biased leads to being time inconsistent, and obviously we somehow undermine the costs and rewards the further they are in the future. Like, the more we undermine the costs and rewards that are further in the future, the more we kind of lose something. And it is called the hyperbolic discounting. Or we're always so much busy with short-term rewards and etc. like that, but is getting your priorities straight. 1, 2, 3, what's your priority? And really doing something without really focusing on any other things besides. So what's the solution? That's a priority list. Or week 1, what's my priority for this week? 1, 2, 3. Week 2, what's my priority for this week? The author in the book says that we have to free ourselves from the urgent but unimportant things. That's what I was talking about. You have to let things go. I always focus on this aspect kind of in my every single video, to be honest. And focus what matters. Focus on your priority list rather than saying, oh, I have to do this because it's so important. Really, it's not really important because you have to get it done. And that's how you really miss that deadline, to be honest. Here's a special reminder. That's you. You're self-aware and self-conscious. If you have these 2 qualities, you'll be reminding yourself all the time. And once you're able to remind yourself all the time, you can conquer a lot of things. Before any choice, you should think of the outcome salience term. So outcome salience is literally reminding yourself the outcome. What happens if you remind yourself of the outcome? You diminish the urgency effect that we explained few seconds earlier. You question yourself and then you reach your destination. How? You meet your deadlines, you do your works, and you set your priorities straight, because priorities matter the most in this life. That's the thing. You can ask this yourself, what specific outcome will I have if I do this instead of not doing that? Okay, first is priorities, and then you focus on execution. Thirdly, you focus on self-reflection, and fourthly, you focus on repeating this process. This summary or framework explains what I've talked in the second stage of this video. Thirdly, making your routine more fun and enjoyable. I'm a big believer of having fun all the time, without work, with work, whatever it is. Once you enjoy something, you'll definitely like it. I love making videos. I also love studying at times. I'm gonna be good at it. Not that I'm not gonna procrastinate, but I'm gonna enjoy it, and it'll make me happy rather than very stressful life. And your routine has shorter/lesser time frame allocated. In your routine, you have a little bit lesser time allocated, knowing that you are aware of the planning fallacy and you have given yourself enough time, but it's kind of lesser. You actually increase your probability of systematic execution. There was a study in 2006 where a census form was sent to many households to count the number of people in that city or country. Essentially two groups. Second group got a week later than the first. They had a week less. Surprisingly, the latter group had a response rate greater by 2 points or 2%. It literally saved the government a whopping $150 million. This really explains that constricting your time and having shorter deadline can help you be more conscious about what's coming next. Key takeaway here is that we tend to get lazy and the work keeps being undone until the near to deadline. We are kind of slacking off. To avoid yourself slacking off, you need to be upright before and give yourself soft deadlines. Always, always, always. That should really convince you to really change your systems right now. But what's the difference between having no deadline versus a deadline in your routine? Another study by behavioral scientists Amos Tversky and Elder Shahriyar offered $5 for filling out a long questionnaire to people and turning it to them. One of the group of students had 5 days to complete it, and another had no deadline. 60% of the students with a deadline returned the questionnaire and got their $5, but only 25% of students with no deadline submitted. So these data really help me or you or us to understand the power of setting comprehensive deadlines. Hence, your everyday routine should have a deadline. Now, one of the biggest things that I've been doing for many days now, and that is including wins in your routine. Trust me guys, being happy, making yourself feel like I did something, I achieved something, is a thing that should have been done way before in my life as well, all right? In an article from a Harvard Business Review, the researchers like Teresh and Steven wrote about the psychological effects of any small wins. They wrote, when we think about progress, we often imagine how good it feels to achieve a long-term goal or experience a major breakthrough. However, big wins are great, but they are relatively rare. You should focus on the small things every single day that builds up the big things. So once you gamify the process, once you start to enjoy every little steps becomes a sole motivator rather than waiting for years and getting to that one point. No, for me, motivation is posting 1 week every day. That's the thing. That's my win. How am I winning every day though? Very interesting. Anyone, literally anyone can do that. I focus on something called the 3 achievements, daily achievements every day. And that is achievement related with the brain, body, and the heart. So brain, I might read 20 minutes of books. For the body, I might do 20 minutes of head exercise. For heart, it can be 10 minutes of walk and 5 minutes of journaling or diary. It can vary upon you. It should have around 30 minutes to 80 minutes of efforts every single day that contributes to this brain, body, and heart. And that should, like the intersection of this should lead to self-growth and happiness and productivity. Do you know how I keep track of it? I give day 1, tick, day 2, tick. Literally in my note-taking system, I literally do like that. And when I have a collection of day 1, day 2, day 3 completed, I feel like, damn, I've really won. I'm really winning every day. This literally helps me keep much consistent every day. I've explained everything. Now, what's your thing? Your job is to find out routine systems that I've explained, psychological systems that I've explained, winning systems that I've explained. Everything should somewhat have a 90 to 80% similarity, but you can tweak your systems to your own selves. And once you implement everything that I've said in this video and the knowledge derived from this book, The Deadline Effect by Christopher Cox, I'm sure that you'll be able to meet your deadlines more effectively, be more productive, and do not burn out. That's the thing. Gaining more information and then finding out ideas and then making decisions and then implementing those decisions to see results. It's a process. You gain ideas from people, you see what's going on, and then you'll be able to be like, oh man, I wish I knew this earlier. Do what's best for you. I think it's time that you take action because you're already in this part of this video. It means you already had a valuable intent to watch this video because you really needed something. I just want you to enjoy what you're doing and really change the way you look at things. And then we'll talk. See you in the next video, guys. And I believe you found this video resourceful or helpful. See you in my next video, guys. Bye-bye.